Oh, look at this. This is Barks. This was absolutely amazing. You call him Houdini to get through there. He just... That was a hot move, wasn't it? Absolutely the player today. There's no doubt about that.
That was the move that put him into the top 10. Now, here's an earlier incident. Anthony Tratt spinning.
Yeah, you'd have to say he just locked up the rear end now. And there's one she lost.
Dougal McDougall. That's coming out of turn 1.
On for a bit of a hayride. Disturbed all the bales. Yeah, that's coming out of turn 1.
Out of turn 1. Escape is right on Tander. Look at this.
But this is the big advantage of this VS Commodore. It's the rear suspension geometry just suits these slow speed corners much better. The car's got better grip coming out of these low to mid corner turns, and that is where Escape is not being able to make the difference.
Dougal's had some problem and run wide there, crunching into the hay bales.
Holding you up. Oh, that's
Dick Johnson, yeah. He's gone right off in the shrubs somewhere there. I'm not sure where that is on the circuit, but it's seriously bogged.
Bury that baby.
Where's that?
Turn 2.
It's turn 2.
Yeah.
Saw a lot of cars going off there in qualifying and practice yesterday, but Dick's fishing for a gear, but there's no way he's going to get out of there.
That's in quite a difficult position too.
It's
quite a dangerous position for the rest of the field.
Well, it's exactly that, because if anybody's going to go off, we saw in qualifying about 5 people went off there yesterday.
And the tragedy of that is that under the 3-race format, he goes right to the back of the grid.
And you'd have to just say that's the same. So, you know, they locked up the fronts, and it really does seem as if the Johnson cars are having terrible understeer problems, because that's with Radisich thing. They lost so much ground in the first couple of laps, and DJ just went straight on there. So she looked like she was locked up. It's Jill.
Dick Johnson's wife, Jill, looking on concerned. Greg Murphy, meanwhile, he's holding Mark Scaife pretty effectively in these opening laps. There's a gap, 2.9 seconds back to third place man, our pole position man, Paul Radisich. Neil Crompton behind him. Then Jason Bargwana going great guns in the new Gary Rogers VT Commodore. He's up to 5th. Jason Bright in 6th. And Cameron McConville deputising for Craig Lowndes. He's up in 7th position.
And immediately behind him, Cameron McLean in the Greenfield Mowers Ford, who's top privateer and running in the top 10. Interesting, talking with Scaife this morning, he said that, he said, well, this is the situation that I'm not real worried about Radisich and Murphy being ahead of me. He said, because they're not in the same race for me in terms of the points for the championship and the safety car coming out. He said, so I'm not going to be going crazy to beat those guys, and I just want to get a good solid finish and get those points. So that's where he is, sitting in second behind Greg Murphy. Safety car on the circuit now.
Right, now that's done Paul Radisich a favour. Now all we have to hope is that he can keep the temperature in his tyres, because I reckon he was having a struggle getting the temperature into them. Then in the last lap or so, she suddenly started to pick up and look like it was gripping at the front. Now it's back to square one again, because if you get the temperature out of this old DJ, it's not the happiest of days for him.
Well, safety car is out on the circuit, the idea being to be
HRT all the way.
That's out and whacked the bank, I would say.
Well, he could have got turned around too. I didn't see the incident, but it's a funny place to come off.
So that will now elevate Neil Crompton into 3rd on the last lap. This is Greg Murphy. The last time he won here at Simmons was race 3 in '97. Murphy does it for the Wins Commodore team. And excellent stuff.
Look at that.
From Mark Scaife in 2nd. It was almost a full second gap, but well done, Greg Murphy.
That's so good for Murphy. It'll take you 3 weeks to get the smile off his face.
It will indeed.
Really nice for him.
And for Mark Scaife, who pulls alongside, I'm sure he'll give him the thumbs up, but for Scaife, as far as he's concerned, that is valuable championship points. Let's have a look at this Radisich incident as we have a look at the Shell Helix replay. And he's done it all himself.
Yeah, he just locked up the back there and spun around. That was it. Well, there you go. There's no damage, but he will be kicking himself. It just looks like a bit too much brake on the rear of it, and lock the back up, and you turn in and you don't realise you've got too much on until the back locks up, by which time it's too...
Conditions here, the rain. There is Radisich's car. So it is not his day after picking up his first pole position. It's going from bad to worse.
Well, the good thing is, if it's cold conditions, it might save it from overheating.
This is Longhurst, yeah. Oh, yeah, she's locked all up on the way in there, and didn't see the beginning of it, but he was lucky not to take Stephen Richards out there, wasn't he?
Larry Perkins almost came in contact with him as well. That reminds me of the Wayne Gardner incident there of a couple of years ago.
Oh, look at Murphy's definitely on the pedal here. Oh, yeah. A little bit of, you see the front aquaplane in there on Scafie's car.
Well,
Nothing changed further back either. Crompton still hanging on to third from Bargwana.
yeah, conditions much wetter this time around. They're running in the 48-second bracket. Oh, Paul Radisich, he's decided to park it. Yeah, I was saying it's a shame because it looks like he might have run out of brakes down there.
You're
too.
right. Something he obviously would have just nipped over there to park her up. But
I was just saying that with that possible radiator damage, the conditions are so cold here, he might have been able to continue, but it looks like his brakes aren't working either. So from the highest of highs to the lowest of lows, Paul Radisich, our pole position man, is just having an absolute shocker. Here come the race leaders to put a lap on him. Mark Scaife and Greg Murphy through the spray. 2.7 seconds, the gap over Neil Crompton in third position.
a one-way system. Oh, it's Cameron McLean.
Cameron McLean.
Well, one-way system, and they are sure to have it sorted out. You know, there's no doubt whatsoever about that. You know, everybody and their aunt is involved in it, so they're doing their best and they're promised that it's going to be okay.
Well, you can see Cameron's running those big discs on the wheels. Have a look at them on the Shell Helix replay.
Oh, yeah, just...
Now, the idea with those discs on the wheels is to trap a lot of the brake heat inside the rim and transfers heat to the tyres, try to make them come in a bit sooner. But Cameron said the price...
Really, when you think of, oh dear, here we go, Parsons.
David Truckee Parsons, car 98.
Now, is that on the outside of turn 2? If it is, we will see a safety car condition, because that's where Dick Johnson went off. Where is that?
That's exactly
the same position.
That's it. Oh, yeah, exactly that. Oh, no, look at that.
That's Murphy.
Murphy spun. Now, he's got a big dent in the back bumper. I wonder if he was leaned on there. Well,
just gets through in front of Russell Ingall and rejoins behind teammate Stephen Richards.
have a look at the back bumper on car 12.
Oh, yes.
Most treacherous corner on the circuit.
Bright,
this is Jason
up
Bright.
behind, yeah.
Whoa.
Oh, he just rushed in, then up behind DJ, and DJ may have stopped a little bit earlier or something, and Jason just locked the whole thing up.
What a tough weekend for him.
Yeah, really. Oh dear.
Well, Mike Emery now in the Saab Rec Commodore. He's parked that coming out turn 7 onto the pit straight. Now, will that call out a safety car? Will they try and finish it? Gee, it's difficult out there.
Race leader is back into 10th as we have a look at a replay. This is the Emery incident.
Oh, a little bit of a tap there.
Well, that's a separate incident.
Maybe he got out of the last one and he's done it again. I'm not sure.
Actually, quite a lot out though. It's Rodney Forbes.
One of our top privateers, Rodney Forbes, he's come off at the end of the back straight and he's gone way out in the grass. Hopefully he can get in heat 2.
Shell Helix replay, Rodney Forbes.
Yeah, just sort of locked her up on the back end by the looks of it, turning into the left-hander. It's in conditions like this, I mean, it's just so easy to do that. Oh, Steve,
Crompton.
Oh, Crompton. Oh, Neil.
Wow.
Oh, dear. You can see it's raining heavily again now.
He's stuck. No point in doing that, Neil. You're stuck there for the day.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind betting the old...
Safety car will come out if he can't get out of there, because that's in a dangerous position.
Yeah, just conditions.
Well, if Bargwana can stay here, here's Crompton.
Oh, boy, Neil. I wouldn't mind betting it was... that's the left-hander where the water is on the inside there. And I'm pretty sure I would say that... Oh, no,
this is out of Ingall's
yes,
car.
That's it. That's the big puddle on the inside
That's
of
what
the...
he's done the big aquaplane, hasn't he?
Yeah, the big puddle on the inside there. And that's what nearly... Can you remember when we saw Scafie's face?
These guys up the front are still trying hard.
Cameron McLean. Oh, dear.
Day's over for the Greenfield Mowers pilot after having a good run. Now, he was in 9th position when that happened. And at the moment, I can't work out where that is. Oh, that's it. Oh, he's gone right up at the end of the hairpin. Steve Reed in the Microplex PPG car was there as well. Now, earlier in the weekend, Cam, Friday and Saturday, we were told about that some diesel was spilled at the hairpin. Has that taken any effect? Has that had an effect as we watch the replay here?
That's, yeah, Cameron McLean just sort of looked like he went to have a little go up the outside of Larry and just got his wheels on the mud by the looks. Oh, no, maybe he was rushing up and sort of thought, hang on a bit, I'm going a bit too quick into that. What do you reckon, Cameron?
Yeah, I think he may have locked a rear brake there, Barry, as you say. He went in a bit deep, but the car went, but through the corner you can't see it all.
Oh, it's Rodney Ford just going to kind of understeering off into the... Going to do it about
same corner as previously, I think. Most of the weekend, or most of today, certainly. Short shift to 4th through here, just feeding on power.
Tander's gone! Garth Tander has gone in exactly the same position as Neil Crompton and in exactly the same way.
Yeah, exactly. That's the killer puddle.
Wow. How treacherous is it there, Cameron?
Yeah, very, very slippery. You're in fourth gear, or you short shift, as I say, or you grab the gears earlier than you would up to maximum rev. You've got to feed the power on so progressively, and just the car gets very taily on the exit there if you hit that sort of puddle on the outside. Also, the surface changes. It goes into a newer, shinier surface, so there's less grip there on the outside of the track.
Well, we have less than 5 laps remaining. Will we see the safety car come out, or will they try and crawl this one home? Let's have a look at the replay of the Tander incident.
Yeah, I would imagine back to the old puddle on the inside that starts. So it starts it all off, you lose it, and then, well, Cameron's been out there all day long. He knows better than mine.
Yeah, it looks as though, I mean, it went around very, very quickly, so maybe it even aquaplaned at the front end of the car and spun around on its own axis. It's very, very little grip.
Yeah, good start from Craig Lowndes as we go to our cherry picker shot right above the track. There's a bit of a contact there at turn 2.
That's
one
Crompton.
of the Ford credit cars, Neil Crompton, car 6, right back in the order. And that's always the price you pay, Cameron McConville, for not qualifying strongly.
Certainly is. You're in it. It's a bit of a lottery, really, to be honest. If you're in the first corner there, everything's congested, and Neil may have got a hit from behind. It certainly looked that way.
You've only got to turn the clock back just 2 years. That is one of the Parsons. That is Skippy, I believe. And Leighton Cranbrook, they've come together. Saying you only have to turn the clock back 2 years. And these two guys that are battling at the front of this race, Bargwanna and Bright, were here in Formula Holdens the year that they ran 1 and 2 in that championship. Now they're leading the first race of 3 here at the Shell Championship Series, the Winton round. Look at Bright already starting to menace the back of the Valvoline Cummins VT.
Jason Bargwanna, our 7th pole winner from 10 rounds so far, ultra competitive. The Shell Championship Series in 1999. We've been waiting for these other teams to get their act together. They've really closed the gap to the Mobile Holden Racing team, which is struggling here today. Russell Ingall sitting back there in 3rd position. Bright climbing all over the back with the Valvoline Commodore of our pole position man, Jason Bargwanna.
Tander's through on the inside of Ingall. Great move going into the Motorsport S's. So he's now up into 3rd, and here comes Greg Murphy on the inside of Ingall. This will be interesting as they head down into turn 1. Murphy already challenging after starting 6th. The end of lap 1, Bargwanna still leads from Bright. Tander and Murphy is through, so the move came off. Ingall now back to 5th.
Yeah, Murph's really on the charge here, continuing the good form they showed at Simmons Plains. Oh no, he's come off! He's come into the sweeper way too hot. What happened there?
Very strange. It looked like, there's cars going. There must be something on the road there. There has to be something on the ground, dirt or something.
Looks like an ant.
Up. We've lost most of it. Is that looks like Scapey too coming back on the road. So maybe I'd say Murph was first on the scene and they've all speared off. We'll have to have a look on the replay.
Well, yesterday when Jason Bargwanna left the circuit, there was mud all over the circuit there from where somebody else went off.
Just looking out of the commentary box, you can't quite see.
From 18th to 7th. And Radisich is there. Here's the Shell Helix replay.
We're looking at the replay now, and there must be at least 6 or 7 cars that went off there. It's hard to tell whether there was a lot of dirt down. And that looks like John Faulkner, I think, having a big lose of making contact with the back of Seaton.
Was it one of the cars?
No, it was Stephen Richards. You're right.
Faulkner's off there too, though. Look, there's Scaife.
I'd say that the first 2 or 3 have obviously brought more debris on.
First time. That's Cameron McLean. He was running in 9th position. And he is out.
That's something you don't often see. He was in trouble at Simmons Plains when he spun off down the end of the back straight. Now he's up against the concrete at turn 3. But all, as we have a look at the replay here with
Cam's
McLean.
gone right down the inside. And I think he actually squeezed Larry for room there. Definitely he was past, but also tried to push Larry out wide so Larry would break early. Slightly shorter rear suspension arms than, say, a VT car. And just as we said that, Steve Reed's thrown it away.
That now hands over the top privateer spot to Nathan Pretty. The Oscar driver is relatively new to V8 Supercars, and Steve just can't get off the grass.
Well, he was talking about the bits he didn't like about Winton. It was up around the gum tree here. He said you could tend to get lost in the bush up there. Well, he's having a bit of trouble getting back onto the track, but he's okay now.
Well, that's disappointing for Steve. It was a very strong run. Pick up another career victory.
Let's see what happened here. I'd say he may have dropped a wheel. Way too much car speed. Yeah, it looked like he dropped the wheel on the way into the corner. There was an oil flag out there, though, that I could just pick up as he went through. It's probably a little bit late in the corner, but perhaps went in a little bit too quick, ran wide on the turn into the corner, and really was nowhere near the
same position. The rear tyres really get a monstering around here. Rodney Forbes
again. Lowndes, Dick Johnson hanging round, and McDonough.
And there's Mark Paul in the John Deere machine. Spins like, David Parsons.
Looks like Mark was all locked up and probably didn't actually mean that one. I think you see locked the rears, got sideways before the corner, and Parsons there was the innocent bystander, unfortunately.
John Bow and Peter Brock have both done it once each, so he's going to be joining a pretty top cast there.
Craig Harris, the Brisbane-based driver, spinning in the Bathurst-winning car of Stephen Richards and Jason Bright of last year. That car
locked the inside front wheel there, nearly ran into the back of Mark, so hit the brakes at the last minute to avoid that, then locked the front, understeered wide, and that was enough. Now, you can see this replay here, that's just Stephen Richards has just outbraked himself there. I think he was a little bit hot, thinking that he was now going to try and latch onto the back of Mark. Braked a little too late, and that's really not that fair.
One who's aiming for a perfect clean sweep.
Earlier incident.
Yeah, we can see McDougall there down the inside of Larkham. They're going to go side by side here. Oh, Larko straight off the ripple strip into the side of McDougall, and we see here, looks like McDougall did squeeze him for room there, but realistically, Larko perhaps should have been a little kinder, could have given him a bit more racing room, but gee, I mean, that's a very, very tricky part of the circuit to go too wide. So
a miraculous escape by everybody else.
Oh, there's one off there. I think it's one of the Wins Commodores. Yeah,
it's
Stephen Richards. Well,
oh boy,
they had a big meeting with Clark, of course, Tim Schenken yesterday. Talk about driving standards. It looks like they got through there relatively cleanly.
Cameron McLean's dropped back about 3-4 places there, so he must have had a little coming together maybe.
Already a challenge on Tony Longhurst as they come off the bridge, and there the challenge has ended up with that. Now somebody was making an inside move on Longhurst. Look at him. He is disgusted. Throwing his arms around inside the car, he is beached.
That guy is driving with a spine that's just been operated on a couple of days ago, and if you see the back of his spine, it's quite incredible. It's just done an amazing job.
Look at the marks on the front of Garth Tander's car.
I saw that, yes. I'd have to say there'd be a little inquiry after that one.
Well, a bit of a shock to the system. Stephen Ellery, the Queensland privateer, not running a lot of bucks, but very impressive here in qualifying. He's up into 4th position behind the first of the AU Falcons. That's Jason Bright. Russell Ingall in 5th. Then it's Tander and McLean, the flying privateer, locks up the inside brake coming through that very difficult twist. Radisich.
Shoved the inside of DJ.
You want to talk about someone else on the move too? Jason Barguana has come from 18th to 10th on the first lap. Our Winton winner is on the way back, and so too is John Bow. He's moving forward. He's up to 14th already. So keep an eye. This is a close battle here. The 2 Shell Helix cars. Radisich already getting one up on team owner Dick Johnson. Then you've got Murphy, then you've got Bow, and Larkham's in there as well.
Yeah, Bargs left himself a bit of a difficult job, didn't he? 18th on the grid around this place.
It's going to be interesting to watch the progress of yellow flags waving there for Tony Longhurst off in the sand trap. I believe the safety car.
Yeah, must be. Everybody's slowed right now.
Safety car's out on the circuit because that is a very, very dangerous position. And Tony Longhurst has beached that car coming off that bridge there. Flat knacker, they brake really hard before they swing right. And any mistake, you'll end up clouding that car.
Yeah, Mark, just to explain about Tony Longhurst's back, he got up one morning and sneezed, and it herniated a disc, or it ruptured a disc, and he had to have an operation on it. It was very, very touch and go.
All right, it's early days. Plenty of action here at Oran Park. Let's check the positions for you as they stand at the moment. Scaife and Lowndes, Bright, Ellery, they've remained the same, though Bright's moved up ahead of Stephen. And Ingall, Tander, McLean and Crompton has made a good forward surge from 11th position. Seaton, Barguana, as we said, is the big mover. And keep your eyes on Radisich and Bow as well. We'll be back right after this.
Scaife and Lounsey, and now it'd be interesting to see if he can. He lost that.
Oh, Bell's hit Murphy.
Oh, hoping to get out of there without any more damage. Look at the field threading their way around either side of the car. Murphy doing the right thing, keeping the thing rolling backwards, because if you stop in the middle of that pack, it makes you even more of a target.
That'll be interesting to have a look at the replay, whether John did in fact tag him or Murph went around by himself. We'll have to wait and see.
So Stephen Ellery continuing. It's going to be interesting to watch the progress of that Shell Grey Falcon.
Right,
let's have a look at the Shell Helix replay.
And yes, there you go. It's pretty graphic. There's definitely a yes on that one, wouldn't it?
Oh, just clear.
extremely hard time as Peter Dillman in the Gatorade car spins. So they're having extremely hard time getting this car set up the way they wanted it here. They've been doing so much testing at Queensland Raceway, and the surface there is so different to the surface here, and it was a real challenge for them. So he couldn't put 2 and 2 together there as we see Bargwanna slowing. And they said that they've been going very well up there, so they could be the ones to watch at the Queensland 500.
Yeah, home test track. But all the guys running the new AU XR8s have been in a bit of trouble here. Glenn Seatley was saying we can't understand it. We put the car's pretty good on old tyres, but new tyres we don't get any extra speed.
Oh, this is getting a bit. Oh, look at the squeeze in the middle of that. That's, well, Piggy in the middle, and Dorman, that really wasn't his fault, was it?
Craig Harris and Paul Wheel involved in that incident as well. And they both escaped not too bad. Wheel was able to...
Trying a big run down the inside of the Mitre 10 Falcon.
Well, Larry Perkins has made the move on Mark Larkham. Now you can see his left-hand headlight there has got some damage, so it's been knocked out. Forbes has got the inside run there.
You can see that one coming, couldn't you?
Yeah, you'd have to say that was pretty predictable, wouldn't it?
Rodney Forbes on the inside, Larkham moving across to take his line. Pow! Clark, of course, Tim Schenken will have a close look at that one on the replay, no doubt. So Larkham having a wretched weekend. Back on the tar, but he would have put some big 4 laps remaining. Oof.
There we go. You can just see Rodney Forbes. Oh, there is Mark looking at... Oh,
yeah, he was lucky, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Well, it's been just a very steep section. Simon Mazidi's having a battle here with Chris Snowden.
Oh, dear,
that was a battle. That was a fight. That was a big one.
That was very ugly.
It really was, wasn't it?
Simon Mazidi's getting going. We're on our final lap. We are on the way home. Ingle is currently running in 6th position. The 2 FTR AU XR8s there and John Bow in the Cat Ford. As we were saying earlier, that team has now been sold and will be based out of Brisbane.
Well,
John Briggs at the helm.
Big contingent of Holden fans here. Let's have a look at that Michelle Helix replay.
This is really...
No, this is mine.
No, it's not.
No, this is mine.
No, it isn't. Look at it. So,
give it to me.
You shouldn't really laugh, should you? But that is... that was quite nasty, actually, wasn't it?
Yep, another view. Smurden didn't give him any racing room at all there.
Well, I have to say, out of the...
Jump on the inside of Stephen Ellery. McLean is in there as well. And the 2 AU XR8s
oh,
of the
look up the inside. Radisich, that's Radisich on the inside.
No!
It's Radisich, Ingle, and that's Seaton. Oh, boy.
Well.
Yeah, we
saw him got caught up in the early part of that tangle. We thought he might have been able to straighten it out, but the car just kept coming around and around.
Yeah, that was, I don't know, it looked a bit like Paul Radisich. I don't know, we'll have to get another look at it and see what happened there.
One thing's for sure, Russell Ingle was tangled up in that, and as the field flies through, you can see how many positions Ingle has lost. He is way back after that.
Boy.
Faulkner's been the big winner in that incident as well.
Jason Bright third in Heat 1. Look at him, he's split the Mobile Holden Racing Team Commodores. That's a big boost for the Ford fans. Garth Tander, a great start, got in front of
look at
Stephen
it now,
Ellery.
look, you see Radisich on the inside there.
Cito on the outside.
Yes, I can't really tell from that angle, but I don't know.
Just couldn't bring it around.
Could also be a case of trying to squeeze 3 cars through a space.
Right here, have a look here. There you go. Well, there was contact.
Geez, so much going on there.
Yeah, you can't really tell from that. You know, it's unfair to blame anybody for it at the moment, but it's, you know, it's... that's Paul Wheel, isn't it?
Yep, Paul Wheel in the K&J Thermal Products car. That is the end of his race, if not the day. So...
It looks like it's smiling, doesn't it? But I don't think it needs to...
The safety car is out.
Safety car.
So that's obviously in a precarious position. I was just trying to work out where that was on the circuit. The situation speaks for itself.
Oh, they're waving. I was going to say they've just walked past the safety car, but he's waving them past.
Waving past the rest of the field. Wait till the leaders get onto the back of the safety car. They'll form up in a grid. And wait till they get those wrecks cleared and we'll return to racing conditions.
Now, to give you an indication of how far Russell Ingle dropped back, as Glenn Seaton still keeps going back to 21st, Ingle dropped. So that hurt him dearly.
All right, now get a look. You see Radisich up the inside there, hard on the brakes. I think Russell then turns in. Yeah, it's coming together with Radisich and Russell, and then Russell sort of goes into Glenn, but it wasn't really...
Looked like Radisich was up on the curb. He ran out of room, and that squeezed Ingle, that squeezed Seaton. It was like a chain reaction over the Piteck Ford.
Oh, John Walker.
And a big lose, back part of the track.
That's a shame because John was running in 9th after qualifying 15th. So he was having a good ready to go. The final sprint race of the year. Will Scaife make it 3? Away we go. Lowndes did get away to a good start, but Scaife has got the momentum on the inside. So too did Jason Wright, and look at Radisich. Radisich on the inside of Garth Tander. He's there. Bow tries to tuck across. Larry Perkins got away to a brilliant start too.
Brighty, good start from him.
Right up the inside, trying to split the Mobile team once again. Stephen Ellery right up on the curves.
Oh dear!
Jason Bargwanna.
Boggs and JB. Oh, JB manages to get back again.
Bargwanna's gone for the race, that's it. Unless he can turn it round out of there and get across, but he opens the door.
He's had a rotten day. Fought his way up from 28th to 9th. Start of this third heat, finds himself out in the shrubs. So it has not been a good day, but Garth Tander having a great day. In the sister car.
Ellery did come through quite forcefully on the inside as they swoop under the bridge on the opening lap of 17. Let's hope we get a clean run in this one. It is 1 and 2, the Mobile Holden racing team, as it's been all day. They have won here for the past 3 years in a row. Brock in 96, Murphy in 97, and Lowndes last year. It looks pretty much like it's going to be Scaife today.
You can get the HRT cars in the first lap. They pull out that cushion. They're sort of almost a second, if you like, and look at that gap. Now that gap stays more or less the same for the race distance. Right, let's have a look here. Oh, that's Bargs coming on the left there. And JB was just lucky that it wasn't in the deep mire. And get a little look there. Just
wow,
look at
Peter
that.
Dillman.
Wow.
The Gatorade Commodore has climbed the tyre wall.
And he's just, you can see him moving around in the cockpit there.
That's what you call getting unloaded. Calling for...
That is a mate. Oh, what's Larry?
Medical assistance, so I hope Peter Dillman's okay.
Oh, it's
that's Dick Johnson.
DJ.
Well, what a rotten way for this champion to finish his sprint racing career. Big damage to the Shell number 17 Ford.
Talk about a tough race 3. It's happening everywhere. People are getting clobbered left, right and centre. So they are going off by the second.
Look at that. That's had a wallop up the backside, one in the front. It's
safety car.
As you would imagine, goes out.
Third time today.
Look at that.
Dillman got his helmet off. Let's hope he's okay inside the Gatorade Commodore. He's given that wall a wallop. Let's have a look on the Shell Helix replay. Oh, it's down there.
That is in a super fast section of the track.
Yeah, just as you come over the top there, it's sort of the left turn to go down the hill, and he's gone straight on.
180 kilometres an hour when they come over the dogleg there. You get out of shape or get off the track, you pay a big price, and there it is there, Peter Dillman. Fortunately, that tyre barrier and the sand trap doing its job of retarding that car before it reached the crowd. But boy, that was a close one.
Well, we've seen the safety car come out in all 3 races today. It's been a pretty brutal day at Oran Park. And here's a replay of a separate incident. This is with Perkins.
Oh, it's Larry. Well, couldn't really see why he went round there. But, yeah, this is the problem. Everybody's racing. They're right up one another's bottle, for want of a better word. And something goes wrong. Everybody stamps on the brakes, and they hit each other up the backside, left, right, and centre.
So that's the story behind the damage to Dick Johnson's car.
Well, we'll be under safety car conditions until they can remove the Dillman Gatorade Commodore off the wall. There are your standings on the Shell Helix race score. Stay with us on your home of motorsport. There's plenty more right after this.
Listen, guys. Oh, this is another replay here. Look at that! Now look at... Look, Larry, that was great. That was hot stuff.
Take the wings off him, Isa.
Scaife, rather. Oh, there goes Darren Pate!
Oh, Darren Pate! Whoa! That was...
Darren Pate skidding across the grass on the inside of Recaro corner. That's the final corner onto the main straight, and narrowly avoiding a huge accident with Mick Donoghue.
He did actually touch him.
Well, we've got a Shell Helix replay of that. We should have a look as Mick Donoghue limps across the line, smoke belching from the car. So too does Pate.
Oh, look at that.
And that could have been a whole lot worse.
Major. Absolute major. Look at this, right. Oh, that... I don't know. It looked like a touch from the rear, and then...
Oh, we'll bring you to a stop right there. How lucky was that?
Yeah, incredible.
We've got a different angle.
Yeah, you see, right at the beginning, I don't know whether Pate got a touch from... Who's that?
That's McDonough.
No, yes, maybe got a touch. See, it's very, very close. Could have been a touch.
Whatever the situation was, he's doing well over 150 kilometres an hour there. Gets sideways and the uphill...
Oh, look at that. Spectacular.
Slows it up nicely. Plenty of action there for the fans. There's Darren getting out of the car. That is the Terry Finnegan car.
When Mobile Holden Racing Team driver Mark Scaife came into contact here. First it was Brighton Bargwana dicing. This is Bargwana. Oof. And then Bright contacting with Scaife and major problems looming for him.
Mark Scaife did come into the pits and has since gone one lap down. Here's another angle, and the contact there between the Mobile One car and the Piteck car sent Scaife spinning onto the infield at a very early stage in this 500-kilometre battle. And Scaife, as we said, has gone one lap down. This is our new race leader, Jason Bargwana in the Valvoline Cummins Commodore. He leads the way on lap 12.
Yeah, boy, it all happened in the brakes. Snuck past Paul Radisich. Look at that, Russell Ingall on the charge too. Now, Radisich back to third position. Bright still up there in fourth. But I don't know what happened there. Misunderstanding between Mark Scaife and Jason Bright. Bright was slow coming out of turn 4. Scaife clipped him. Scaife's back into the pits. Now look at the damage on the front guard there. Greg Rust is on the spot.
Well, Mark, the car came in during the course of the ad break after that unfortunate crash. Now, the car has sustained a lot of damage to the front right. They tried to fix it before he went out before. The boys are looking at lower ball joints, control arms. It looked like they're telling Scaife to give them a description of exactly how the car feels. The car was almost crabbing at the front when it came down pit lane. They've already thrown on 4 fresh tyres, but at the moment the concern is this handling of the car. Mark, I don't know if you can see him, but he is very disappointed right now.
Yeah, you would be too. And I guess already, look at him shaking his head. Big plans for the Queensland 500. Challenging for the lead of the Shell Championship Series with his teammate Craig Lowndes. And look at that head hung low. A picture speaks 1,000 words.
Well, the thing is that if Craig Lowndes goes on and takes the double points, the 300, as we have a look at the Shell Helix replay, oof. Bang, that right front.
I don't know what happened there, whether Jason Bright missed a gear or something. He was very slow coming out of turn 4. Scaife, well, I was going to say he's lucky he didn't clout that marshal's post there, but look at the damage to the car. Lower ball joint, the boys are saying. Part of the suspension damage. And that is very, very time-consuming.
It's out of this race. Can Lowndes win it and seal the whole thing? But here's Osborne's incident.
The Shell Helix replay, the Queenslander parking it in the gravel. Now, the most important thing to come out of all of this is that the bright Piteck Ford was the first to come in. It was the one to make advantage and make the most of that safety car. First up, after 24 laps, Bright in.
Yeah, well, Bright.
And making the most of it.
He's gone to the back of the queue. He was just coming out of the pits when the safety car was coming past the pit exit. And under the rules, they have to hold the car in pit lane until the whole field's gone through. So he goes on to the back of the queue. But that's one compulsory pit stop up on everyone else. So Ross and Jim Stone choosing to call Bright in early. It was interesting watching Jason Bright in those opening laps. He set the pace for the first few, and then after that collision with Scaife, he just sat back in that leading 4, doing the same sort of times as the race leader, but he was running obviously a little bit more conservatively. Maybe it's a chance for them to check out the form and the tyre condition of the other teams around them, make sure they really are on the ball with their race plan. There he is, right at the back of the queue when the cars go back to green racing conditions.
Holden fans and Mobile One fans, your man Mark Scaife has gone down some 13 laps from that collision with Jason Bright. And is back on track. That's the good news. There he is, but a very disappointed Mark Scaife. But you can bet one thing, he will be a very determined Mark Scaife as the colour scan Falcon is assisted out of the sand trap. The Osborne-Peters combination back on the road.
It's interesting Bright making that early.
Besides a very small amount of testing, Rodney Forbes has gone. Wow, the PPG Commodore Forbes has gone in a cloud of dust, but comes back on. That's difficult to judge from here. Here's the Shell Helix replay.
Well, time will tell as this race wears on. 31 laps down of 161. We've seen a few privateers spinning off into the dust and the gravel traps around this circuit.
And here is why. It is the John Trimble entry running right off. Now that looks like he's just run out of brakes. Trimble's car. There you go. Front end.
Is it got a flat tyre?
Flat tyre, yeah.
Might be.
That would make sense.
So John Trimble straight on. Down at turn 1. So he's stranded right out in the Sahara there. Massive area there to arrest cars that are out of control. 230 kilometres an hour on the approach to that corner. It's nice to know you got that safety blanket out there, but he's gone way out. Here comes John Bauer in the Caterpillar Ford. 36 laps completed.
Jimmy Richards is getting ready too. There we go. Watch Jimmy, the driver change. They were very slick. Trent Higgs.
Yes, at the moment we've got John Bauer jumping out of the car and Jim Richards getting back into it. It looks like the Cat team are taking no chances with tyres. They've put a new set of tyres on. They're also topping up the fuel. So it looks like a pretty slick stop here.
Well, that's what you can expect from the Cat team, especially two very experienced campaigners. I was talking with Deb, John Bauer's partner, and she said that Jimmy has had a very calming influence on the team. Greg?
Everything going very smoothly down here at the moment for Mark Larkham and Brad Jones. Brad is already behind the wheel. Larko is out of the car. The tyres look to be in fairly good condition, I must say, guys. The tyres that came off Jason Bright's car looked a little more shabby than this one, so we're going to have to keep a close eye on how the tyres are going. Now, this has gone a little longer than they've expected. Problems for the front left, 37 seconds for the Mitre 10 team at the moment. This is not the slick sort of stop they were looking for at this point in the race.
That is much longer than they've practiced, much longer than expected. Now, Brad Jones, there's problems for Brad there. Now he gets going. There was a little bit of a hiccup, and he was indicating behind his helmet there, but he's back out. He tucks in behind the Anthony Tratt, Alan Jones, Toll Falcon, and they get going again. Back out on the circuit, a driver change. It was a bit of flurry there. This is the second safety car we have seen so far, and as predicted, I think we will see many today. The Yellow Quench VT Commodore going through there. What an outstanding effort by Dougal McDougall.
It really is an extraordinary effort by Dougal. Car prepared by Larry Perkins Racing, as indeed the David and Skippy Parsons machine. Even though they've bought the car, part of the deal is prepared by Fred Gibson.
So you hope the rope's long enough.
Yeah. I think they're running out of rope. Look.
They're going a long way.
That's how far off the road Trimble went. So they're going to have to get a longer bit of rope or stick the four-wheel drive into the sand. But it's going to be quite a while before they pull Trimble out of that mess.
Get down there, Marco. Your arms would be long enough to stretch that. Yeah, it's been very frantic. We've seen some driver changes. Currently, it is Bargwanna who leads the way. Look, there is the Piteck Ford. This is the John Trimble Chefs on the Run entry, trying to limp back to the pits. We've seen a flat tyre, a little bit of damage to the front left. He's doing his best to try and limp back.
Well, it's very critical that he does limp back, Lee, because under these race regulations, the car has to get back under its own power, get that drive back to the pits under its own power, not to be disqualified. So it's very important for Trimble to try and limp it back on that flat tyre. And that's what we're waiting for under this safety car situation. Trent Higgs.
I'm down in the Wins Racing pit where the team of John Faulkner and Simon Wills have made an unscheduled stop. John has back problems. John, can you tell us some more?
Yeah, look, it's pretty hard getting out of a good race car, but it's excruciating. Every time I brake, the pain just shears up my back. And when that happened in Adelaide in the endurance race, I nearly crashed the car. So I thought it's better to come in now while there's a few safety cars and put Simon in the car, because I'm sure I'll do a better job at the moment. But I've got a Cairo waiting here, so maybe I'll get some help.
So what's the plan? You go and get some work done on it and then get back out there, hopefully?
Oh, yeah, look, I feel really good. It's just that when I brake, it just screaming pain goes into my back. So I'm just not good for the car at the moment. It's not fair on the team to stay in it.
Okay, well, commiserations. I hope it gets better.
Thank you.
He's not the only one in the John.
Just doing our sums on the Piteck Ford. All trouble there for Alan Heath and Warren Luff in the Falcon. Warren Luff at the wheel. And he's just parked it down the end of, or off the pit exit lane. So the car's starting to fall pretty rapidly now.
And Thomas has done a terrific job in the Siemens Mobiles car. Whoa, that's the John Trimble, Kevin Heffernan car.
The third time they've come off today. They're having a real...
Top place privateers, Steve Reed and Trevor Ashby, the two Sydney-based drivers.
Oh, he came in there way too hot. He was off the racing line, got out on the ripple strips, completely lost it, and managed to keep it off those tyres. But boy, those guys are having a tough day at the office. Here's the Gatorade car coming onto the pit straight. Another replay.
And this may tell us why. Well, that's why. You can't go down the pit straight backwards.
So T is having a tough time of it out there, as is everyone, from the leader to...
Right here now, talk about landscaping for the Greenfield Mowers team. This is Cameron McLean for the second time about to lose the front left wheel, and even more serious problems coming up here. Lee Diffie and Mark Osler. This could be a real hazard if more than that wheel comes off. Look at the sparks there. And the disc.
Oh, the disc come away as well. Something on fire inside the wheel rim. Poor old Wayne Park taking over the car from Cameron McConville. We saw Chop. Look at the disc. Cutting a swathe across the road onto the grass. Wouldn't want to pick that thing up. You cook your breakfast on that.
Well, Wayne Park, it's a very scary moment for him. We saw it happen to Cameron on the back straight as it just gouges its way through the infield. That is the day for the Greenfield Mowers team. And Wayne Park, this is his only drive with the Greenfield team in the Enduros. Of course, John Clellan stepping in, so not a happy day for him.
And here comes the Caterpillar Ford. Car running right up in the top 5. Greg Rust.
Well, Jimmy Richards getting out of the car. John Bowers eagerly waiting for this one to get back behind the wheel. This car doing reasonably well at the moment. Now there's a problem with the jacks. They've got a problem with the jacks. They can't get the car completely up off the ground. The boys are diving for the gas at the moment, trying to pump some more air through it so they can actually get those air jacks up and get the car off the ground. They can't do that at the moment, so they haven't completed the tyre stop. Problems for the fuel as well. Oh, there's been a flame. There's a flame here. Goodness me, that happened very suddenly. The boys took the vent bottle out of the back of the car. Officials very smartly are on top of this. And what happened, the guy who was pumping the fuel into the car, goodness me, I was right near that. He kept pumping the fuel in there. Now, what has happened, I'd say, is it's overflowed out of the tank and gone down onto the exhaust. It's ignited for the briefest of moments and gone out. So there's a lot of protective foam that's been sprayed down here. The problem still remains. 58 seconds gone. They can't get this car off the ground and they can't change the tyres.
That is disastrous despite the obvious danger. They were well placed, and that was a very scary moment for the Cat Ford team.
Tell you what, full marks to the guys with the fire extinguishers, though. They were in there very, very quickly. That's a view from our camera on the back of the Caterpillar Ford. It's covered in fire retardant foam. And gee, it puts a chill up your back when you think of what refueling and touring car races used to be like even 20 years ago. Guys just in short sleeve shirts and caps. Now they're in the full flame retardant gear. Fire marshals at the ready. It's a much better situation now, and you can see accidents can happen even with a dry brake system. And everyone very lucky to get out of that one. But John Bow, problems with the pneumatic system on the jacks. They can't get the car into the air. If they can't get into the air, they can't change tyres.
So they're just sitting there.
So they're just going to be sitting there. And looks like John Bow's shutting down all the systems. I think the Caterpillar Ford is kaput. Let's have a look at that on the replay. Look at the fuel flying out of the refueling. The vent bottle was out. Look how quickly the marshals are in.
That was brilliant work. That was great work by the safety crew, the fire crews. They were right on the spot. And that could have been a whole lot worse.
Well, we don't often give those guys enough credit. A lot of them are volunteers. They don't do it on a lot of money. But boy, when you need them, they were there instantly.
What an outstanding effort. Now here we go for our Be Clear and Simple in-car camera, and Jim Richards assisting John Bow. All when everything was going so right. This is when it happened. This is the replay.
Gosh.
And look at the flames at the back there. John Bow wouldn't know anything about it at the moment. No. He's there belting up.
He was looking down at his lap belts when the fire erupted. Now he's wondering where the hell all this smoke's coming from. That was a very, very dicey situation that was brought under control very quickly, thankfully, for everyone involved.
Back to live pictures now. Joining us in the commentary is Shell Helix Ford driver Paul Radisich. Paul, scary moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Just shows you how fast things can get out of control.
Well, tell us about your situation. Things were going so well for you and Steve Ellery, and now you're sitting up here with us for the rest of the day. Well, for us for the moment, and you're out for the rest of the day.
Yeah, disappointing. Everything was going well. We set a pace and we were just sticking to it. Tyres were terrific. Car was just purring along. Brake pedal was starting to get longer and longer and longer, and then eventually pumped out all the brake fluid. Made a stop. Basically, the guys couldn't find where the problem was. And
unbelievable.
And the Piteck Ford is out. Fire underneath. The Stone Brothers Racing Falcon. Craig Baird at the wheel. Just saw him come out of turn 5. Fire extinguisher at the ready. But that looks terminal, Paul Radisich.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, as soon as it stopped on the track there, big problem. I'm going to have to leave because it's disappointing to watch all these cars go by the wayside. I know exactly how they feel.
It must be heart-wrenching. You've been there. You know what it feels like from earlier in the day.
Yeah, it sure does. There's no getting over it. Just got to look forward to the next one, and very disappointing for the Stone Brothers, I'm sure.
Well, you've got to say that this is playing into the hands of Bates and Brabham. They are looking good in second position. We go down to the pits.
Well, unfortunately, Jason Bright, tell us what's happened here.
Oh, looks like we just lost an engine. I don't know exactly, what's caused it to go, but, we were sitting absolutely pretty. Craig was doing a fantastic job. We just put a lap on the Valvoline car. All we had to go was a tyre stop. It's really disappointing. The guys have worked really hard. We've been quickest in every session. We qualified on pole. It's just breaks my heart. That's our championship gone, really. Just because there's so many points on this race. I just have to kiss this championship goodbye now. I mean, if either of those HRT cars finishes, it's gone.
Commiserations, mate.
Yeah, thank you.
Everybody knew this was going to be a hard race, but, well, just this hard, it is unbelievable. There is Craig Baird. It's not his fault. He just happened to be the poor guy behind the wheel when it happened. Here is the Shell Helix replay of the Piteck Ford lunching an engine.
Gee, you don't see these engines detonate like that very often these days. That's a big blow-up. Smoke and oil pouring out of the exhaust pipe. Just a tragic scene for the Piteck Ford. Tremendous operation. They run a great campaign. There's Craig Baird, the Kiwi left snap.
Great effort ahead of the Parsons, both of them. Larkham back in the race after early dramas, and then Trevor Ashby leading Privateer. Marvellous stuff, Greg Rust.
Well, a quick pit stop that was for Mark Larkham, just 23 seconds. Brad Jones out, Larkham in, some tyres and some fuel for the run to the checkered flag. Now, I've also spoken to Fred Gibson in the last few minutes. They have confirmed that Murphy has enough fuel on board to get to the finish of the race. But also, prior to the start of this race, I found out about a little secret ingredient that Murph and Stevie Richards were using today. Most of these drivers have personal fitness trainers and often are drinking sporting-style drinks like Gatorade in their drinking systems or bottles inside the car. Not these two. They're drinking black Coca-Cola and water.
Hang on a sec, Greg. We've seen Mark Larkham go right off the circuit, almost as though he had no steering or a flat front tyre that has affected the front splitter and the front spoiler, and he's going to have to come straight back into the pits.
Doesn't look good. We just saw the Piteck Ford in such tragic circumstances blow an engine and go out of this race. Jason Bright joins us. What do you think's happened there, Jason?
Yeah, turn 1 and 2, as this race goes on, it's just getting slipperier and slipperier. There's a lot of marbles out there. Mark's come out of the pits on cold tyres, and, I could see that he was just right out of the gas, but, you just can't make the car turn on those marbles.
Well, Mark Larkham, damage to the front end. He's half a lap from coming back into the pits. The crew will be rushing frantically to get another front spoiler. Greg?
Lee, the word from the pits down here at the moment is that Mark may have broken a front roll bar. I think that is the problem at the moment. Now he's trying to limp it back to the pits. They're not quite sure what forced him off. What he did say when he radioed in was he had chronic understeer and he couldn't explain why.
Well, it's getting tougher and tougher as this race wears on. 128 laps of 161 as he passes the stricken Piteck Ford. Jason Bright, I can't imagine how you feel at the moment.
Yeah, we've really had a great weekend this weekend. The car has just been running perfectly. The guys have been working really hard. We had a great car. The car was running fantastic in the race there. Craig was doing a fantastic job. we were looking really good. We only had one more stop to go. We were running at the same pace as Larry Perkins and Russell Ingall. You know, we were pretty much on the same strategy as those guys, except we were going to make our stop just a little bit later.
This is the Junior Wins racing car, the combination of Paul Dumbrell and Matthew White. They've pulled up right alongside the Greenfield Mowers car. No indication as what is to happen to that car. New front spoiler will be put on the Mitre 10 Ford, and let's hope they can solve that problem for Mark Larkham and he can get back out there. He was in the top 10. This is hurting him big time. He's not in the championship contention whatsoever. You see Brad Jones talking to him there. We'll have a listen.
Don't get off line, make them go around you. Now, stay on line, use the black shit, it grips up and you can go hard. Rightos, do not get that much off the line and you're fucked.
Brad Jones, they're indicating you must stay on line, saying stay on line. Yeah. So they're pretty frustrated, the boys.
Because it's becoming a single lane race track out there, Jason Bro.
Yeah, you know, early on in the race you could actually afford to go offline a little bit and you wouldn't be in much trouble. But as the race went on, you know, if you're probably even less than half a metre offline, you just get wider and wider and until you run out of road.
Well, Jason, it was almost like Bathurst all over again, wasn't it? You came in earlier than everybody else, and things were looking great. Yeah, you know, the strategy was sort of falling in our favour. We were probably going to come in for tyres with about 25, 30 laps to go. It was just we were going to be up points. You got to look at his endurance record now. This looks like the Trimble-Heffernan entry again going.
Oh dear, oh dear. These guys are having a terrible day. That's number 4, isn't it?
Yeah, that's 4.
Severe grip problems in the Daily Planet machine.
Also on the circuit at the moment in turn 1. Look at that. That is the John Deere VT of Mark Poole and Tony Scott. A safety car period, 156 of 161. Whether they will let this run to the end or not, we will have to wait and see. And that is Tony Scott climbing the wall. No idea of what has happened there, but he has gone the full length of that sand trap and more, and is on the other side of the wall now. We will wait and see if the safety car comes out, or we could have a very dramatic end to the Queensland 500. Russell Ingall currently holds an 18-second lead from Bargwanna and Murphy in third. We've got a Shell Helix replay coming up of what exactly happened with the John Deere Commodore.
Well, they're probably so close to the finish of the race, and considering he's right over the other side of that gravel trap,
well, yeah,
he might be considered in a safe position. There's the Shell Helix replay, following in the tracks of John Trimble much earlier in the race. He's got everything locked up.
It just keeps ploughing on.
But he's so far off the hit list there, they might just leave him there with the remaining laps.
Well, that would be almost cruel to Russell Ingall after he has done so much work with just 5. Oscar Fiorinotto. Whoa, that is Murphy. He's gone. No, Greg Murphy right at the end of the race is off in the sand trap. And he's trying to keep going and work his way around the outside. We're trying to figure out exactly where that is. Right at the other end of the circuit, just before the last corner onto the main straight. That is right in the middle. So Murphy bringing the Wins Commodore back onto the circuit.
Let's check that out on the replay.
Whoa, might have got a little bit of a tap there.
Oh, hit the wall as well. It's the Dumbrell.
Oh no, that is the Paul Dumbrell Matthew White entry. Paul Dumbrell, we've seen him race in Formula Holdens this year. He is the youngest driver to ever race at Mount Panorama as Paul scrambles out of the car. And it's at McPhillamy Park.
He closes the door.
Yeah, it's
he's given
two things. If one thing, the doors could be sticking out and someone could whack it. So, oh dear, he's giving himself a whack.
Yeah, he's hit that wall very, very hard. You can see the damage. Let's have a look on the Shell replay. Oh, he's already hit the wall there.
Done it.
Looks like memories of Craig Lowndes' accident there 2 years ago when he got offline, got out of the.
Oh, look at the diff at the back of it.
Yeah, rear axle's broken.
Really given a major wallop there.
Well, that's a shame for young Paul Dumbrell. He's only 17 years old. As we said, the youngest ever driver here on Mount Panorama. He's up onto his feet.
Yeah, he's given himself a big shake. Marshall's on the spot to make sure he's okay, but I think he's just had the stuffing knocked out of him more than anything.
Well, the trouble is, Mark, it whacks your knees up against the roll cage and everything, you know. It just gives it...
Look how hard he's hit there.
Yeah, it really has.
So this is the nature of this race. It's a very, very tough, demanding circuit. When you're pushing as hard as these guys are, mistakes are commonplace.
Well, Student
is just over the blind rise and approach to McPhillamy Park. It's a pretty precarious position. Greg Rust.
On down in the pits at the moment, Mark, with Ross Stone. It's early days, Ross, but Jason's sitting in 4th place. Is everything going according to the strategy?
Yeah, everything seems to be working.
Hardest motor races you will find anywhere in the world, and there's proof of that. Bob Thorne, Todd Wanless Falcon, car 80. In all sorts of trouble on the approach to Forest Elbow. Bob Thorne out of the car. There's Simon Emazides' safety car. As you can see by that sign in the background, will come back on the circuit to clean up these wrecks. So it looks like it's going to be one of those days, Lee.
Okay, I'll keep count, all right? That's 2.
We always think that the safety car is probably going to do as many laps as the race winner. They call it out so many times. And look at the wreckage here. This great shot from the Channel 10 chopper. Bob Thorne has come to grief in the second of the Super Cheap Autos car.
I'm wondering if there goes Simon Emazides, and the sand trap doing its job beautifully.
Oh, there you go.
Really pulling him up very quickly.
The FIA track safety engineers will be very happy to see that. A lot of design, a lot of development work goes into designing sand traps and safety additions to racetracks to try and arrest spinning cars, and that was working beautifully there.
And they hit that sand trap. Simon Emazides would have hit that sand trap near on 200 kilometres per hour. So that goes to show how well the sand trap does its job. Now, further down the track, further down the mountain is where Bob Thorne spun the Super Cheap Autos EL Falcon in exactly the same position. We saw that horrific crash last year involving, I don't know, 6, 7 cars, something like that.
Yeah.
And there we go. Bob Thorne is out of the FAI 1000.
Making the penalty even worse. Oh,
Daniel
no.
Miller and Jeff Kendrick. That's at Speed Stick Corner at the top of Mountain Straight, and that's in a very precarious position, and there's debris across the road also on the clear side.
So they continue to tumble. We're going to watch the starter's flag and see if a safety car is scheduled to come out again. That is a very dangerous place. Let's have a look on the Shell Helix replay. What's happening? Oh, I'm not sure whether he got a nudge or he's just lost it, but he's crunched the wall big time. In some traffic there. That's not a good place, well, no nice place to go off at Mount Panorama, but that's particularly dangerous there on the approach. You can see he's just on the racing line. That's where the cars would normally exit. I hope the yellow flags are waving vigorously down there to warn the other drivers of this dilemma.
I'm wondering what's going on, because on the slow-mo replay there, Mark, we saw him facing downhill, or I can't remember if it was downhill or uphill, but he was on the other side, whether he's tried to get going again, turned around and stalled it.
Well, what's he doing here? He's doing the right thing. He's trying to push the car further off the racing line if he can. Let's have a look at that again. Well, he's already on his way around by the time we pick up that replay, so I'm not sure if there was contact with another car there or he's lost it himself. But he's very definitely on the outside wall, and it looks like he's rolled down. Comes in when the pit lane's relatively clear.
Well, this is on board with Neil Crompton in the Ford Tickford Racing AU, and he's looking in the rearview mirror. He doesn't want to get hit from behind, as there's a bit of confusion here as Daniel Miller's reversing across towards the truck.
He's hooked up to the truck.
Towing him, yeah.
He's got a tow strap there. Crompton waves his arm and says, well, what's going on? Completely blocked the circuit. So Neil continues on his merry way. Miller's car.
Welcome back to Mount Panorama. That's Garth Tander and I think Thomas Mazira have come together. Well, Mark Oasley, you had a theory on this because just a moment ago you made a comment about the back of Mazira's car.
Well, I've just been watching it the last few laps, Bill. See that big oil stain on the rear bumper? Been watching that car running around the lead pack. There's been a big dark oil stain building up under Mazira's car like it was pumping out a bit of oil. And I saw on Greg Murphy's car the screen was splattered in oil spray, so maybe, I don't know, but it looks like Mazira's car may have been pumping out some oil. Maybe he's dumped a big load, I don't know, but both cars out of the race. Greg Rust.
That's it.
Well, I'm down here with a fairly disappointed Gary Rogers. Gary, have you spoken to Garth and what's happened?
I physically haven't spoken to him, Rusty, but the boys have. Evidently someone had to lose and hit the wall and bounce back out in front of him. So that's put pay to that for the day, hasn't it?
Certainly has. It's one of those sort of races, I guess, when you consider that there's 55 cars here. Something, unfortunately, was going to happen like this today, wasn't it?
Well, I think we should remember too, it's only a third of the way in. There'll be a bit more of it. I mean, it's unfortunate, but, you know, these things happen. It's no good crying in your beer. That isn't going to help.
Hard luck, mate. You had a great team here today with both Bargs and Tander. It's a shame.
I'm sorry?
Hard luck, mate. You had a great team in Bargs and Tander today. It's a shame.
Oh, well, we'll just keep at it. That's all we can do. Thank you very much.
Here's your Shell replay on your screen. Thomas Mazira turning all by himself.
Oh, how lucky was... Oh,
that was unlucky right there.
No, but how lucky was Baird to sneak through on the inside in the Piteck car.
That's the number 34, Valvoline Cummins Commodore. Garth Tander steering it, and you can see the extensive damage. Thomas running backwards down into Forest Elbow, and the Valvoline Cummins Commodore comes to a rest. Now another pit stop for the Piteck Ford team. Bright is back in, Baird is out of the car. Greg?
Very slick stop, Lee. They've in fact fixed all that gantry. A smooth stop, no dramas this time at all for the Piteck Ford. A change of driver, tyres and fuel, and Brighty's back out there.
Well, you certainly wouldn't question Stone Brothers' tactics, because we saw them come to the fore last year. Brilliant tacticians, and that is a very sad sight.
In fairness to Thomas Mazira, if that theory is correct, if he was pumping out some oil through the back of the car, he could well have got some on his rear tyres.
Spun himself, yeah.
Spun himself around. We don't know. We'll find out from Thomas later in the day, but very unfortunate. There he is. He is one of the true battlers of V8 Supercar. You think of where he's come from. Former factory driver with the Holden racing team, now a struggling guy on his own. Doesn't do it with a lot of money, and that was a very strong run. He showed he had the speed, didn't he? Running with that leading pack.
He was going brilliantly in the Denzatron VT Commodore. And apparently we are getting word now from race control that just before that had happened, he was called into the pits by race control, by the officials, because they had noticed the oil leak as well. So there you go, your theory's confirmed, Mark.
That's a real shame, and you don't do it on a lot of bucks. He probably only had one engine here this weekend. There it is. Now last year, you remember Stephen got caught up, got hit big time in that accident at exactly the same part of the track.
And put them out of the race. Fortunately, no tyres are rubbing. There is no damage otherwise that other than the cosmetic damage. And it doesn't seem to be affecting Stephen too badly. Let's have a look here and look to the right of your screen. Watch to the right of your screen. Behind the pretty car here is the 17 Shell Helix Ford. There it is there.
Oh!
Just squeezing through, and then Tander nails Mazira. He was in the innocent party there. Poor old Thomas Mazira spitting on his own oil. That's what it seems. You can see the front of Greg Murphy's car there. The oil splatterings across the front.
And top place privateer here too, running 11th, just outside the top 10, and a big crash.
Is that the Graphic Skills car, the Wayne Wakefield Dean Kanto car? I think it is, yeah.
Oh, hasn't he hit the wall, huh?
We will see another pace car.
Goodness me, that's up at the Ford Tickford cutting on the approach. You can see that green fluid on the road, that's all the engine coolant. Massive rupturing of the radiator. Those front panels all stoved in against the engine. That has been severely damaged.
It's Sydney teenager Dean Kanto getting out of the car.
He's taking his opportunity to jump to safety behind the concrete wall. Oh, the attrition rate in this race is staggering. Let's have a look at that on the Shell replay. Oh, he got turned around.
Absolutely clobbered.
And what was that car?
Just trying to pick up who it was. A white VS Commodore, I think it was.
He got nailed on the approach to the depot. Innocent victim in that, Dean Kanto and Wayne Wakefield. Well,
it was...
Well, I imagine there's a very disappointed Wayne Wakefield down in the pits. He's with our own Greg Rust.
Wayne, tell us what's happened there. A lot of very disappointed faces down here.
Yeah, Rusty, it's pretty devastating, mate. Poor old Dino's minding his own business, and someone's given him a whack at the backside and turned him around into the wall, so looks like that's the end of us for today. But the car was going really well. We had a little bit of a problem from the start, but...
Now we're getting reports just now that the car is in fact on fire. Dean is at least out of the car, which is good news, but the car's on fire.
No worries. Okay.
Well, it is a big worry, I think.
It is a worry. Hopefully they can put it out.
Listen, that's a real shame for you. You put together a really good package, and Dean was a terrific co-driver as well. It's looking good for you.
Yeah, mate, well, we had one of the quickest combinations of privateers, and we're looking for a good result here today, but I guess we'll have to pack up and come again next year.
Chin up.
Righto, mate. Thanks, Rusty.
That is now the 10th casualty. We are down to 45 V8 Supercars. 55 started. We have now lost 10. And here is the replay. Let's try and pick up on the Shell Helix on the Shell replay who in fact it is who tags him. On the outside there, yeah, it is a Commodore. car, 27, the Finnegan Pate
Terry
car.
Finnegan, Darren Pate machine. And just trying to check who's at the wheel at the moment.
Is it though? Having a look, 27. Yeah, Darren Pate. As they climb the hill, and apparently the Finnegan Pate entry is in pit lane as the fire marshals attend to the graphic skills Kanto Wakefield entry.
Yep, contact at the top of the mountain. There's no room for error there. The car is in pit lane, the Pate Finnegan machine.
Real-time replay, real-time replay.
Darren Pate was at the wheel. So, a nasty incident between those two. Very unfortunate incident too, amongst the privateers. Greg Rust is on the spot.
I certainly am, Mark. We'll try and muscle in here and have a word to Darren. Darren, just describe what happened there.
Oh, mate, we're just coming out of Forest Elbow, going up the hill, and Dean got a bit sideways, and all of a sudden he lost a heap of power going into the cutting, and we had contact.
How much damage has your car sustained?
Mate, I think we could be pretty well out of the race. The front left-hand side's all damaged, and I'd say the steering's quite bent. So, I mean, it's one of those things.
The unfortunate privateer stories in pit lane continue.
That's hard going too for Terry Finnegan, who works so hard and has been around for quite a long time. Of course, Terry not behind the wheel. Darren Pate, they're involved in that incident.
As we see this incident with Darren Pate making contact. Car 97, Wayne Wakefield and Dean Kanto, the Graphic Skills Racing Commodore VS, into the wall in a big way.
Brado got caught up in a bit of a situation a few laps ago and got some junk in the radiator. The car got very, very hot, and it's just taking its toll on components surrounding the engine, and it looks like now the clutch has had a big heat. So it looks like Saturday was our day and Sunday's not.
Time for a VB, I think.
We'll be back. Thanks, mate.
Yeah, how many times have we seen that at Bathurst? But we just saw the Coca-Cola Commodore in all sorts of trouble down at the chase section of the circuit. Looks like it's stuck in the sand. We're not sure if they'll be able to get it out. So we may have another safety car period. The Piteck Ford's in pit lane as well. Looks like it may be a scheduled stop.
While we talk about, Mark, the casualties in this race, one of the big-name casualties is the Valvoline-Cummins combination of Garth Tander and Jason Bargwanna. Jason joins us now in the commentary box. Mate, that was a very, very sad scene. Just hang on a second as we have a look at... This is David Brabham in a very serious incident. Very fast, spinning, fortunately not being collected by any of his competitors. And that is scary stuff, Jason Bargwanna.
Let's have a look at this from another angle. Oh, what happened there?
Rear tyre, rear tyre.
He almost got airborne. See the amount of air that went under the car? Could have taken off like an aircraft.
Yeah, no, it looks like the rear tyre's just let go there. He's just turned into the chase. I mean, you're doing 280 odd Ks an hour at that point, and she's let go. Ugly.
That is a frightening ride.
A replay, though, of the earlier incident with David Brabham. Jason?
Yeah, look at that. I mean, he's just turned the car in and it's let go. Like you're, geez, that's so close to going over, isn't it?
Wasn't it just?
But you're doing 280 kilometres an hour there. I mean, it's scary stuff for the car to be doing that.
Now look at this. He's going across the sand. The sand's slowly trying to abate his speed, but he comes right across in front of the camera. Oh, look at Stephen.
Oh, we have lost someone big time. That looks like the 42 car of Mark Williams and Scott Fleming. It is.
That's it. Down at Forest Elbow. It's been catching a few today. Bit of a replay coming up in just a moment. Let's have a look at this, Jason Bargwanna.
Yeah, interesting to see what happens here. I mean, Forest Elbow catches a few people out sometimes, doesn't it?
You know all about it. Let's see, where are we? Oh, okay.
No, he's done that one by himself, but it looks like it. Oh, Bridie nearly got him as well.
Oof.
The car gets very light as you get crest the top of the hill there. You're sort of hard in the brake, you come off the brake again and back in the brake again. He's obviously run a little bit wide and had to get back in the brake pedal, and it's locked the rears up and around it's gone.
Williams and Fleming. Another one joining the casualty list. Barry Sheen.
Yeah, I'm with David Brabham. David, that looked, from where we were sitting, it looked...
With John Faulkner.
Here's a replay. Oh, this is Ron Nash and Dean Wanless. Dean Wanless behind the wheel. This is heading up towards the Ford Tickford cutting, and that is disastrous for those guys. That's a brand new VT Commodore. This is their first meeting in it. Dean Wanless, the rookie. His first time on the mountain in a V8 supercar. and it's ended like that, and we see yet another safety car.
Jason Bargwanna, I'll ask you this question as a driver. Is this, every time we see a restart, one of these guys ends up in the wall? Is this the problem with these tyres, as you were saying, waiting for them to get up to temperature? The car isn't perhaps handling the way it should?
Oh, probably in that situation not, because where it was and where it happened is not really somewhere that's dependent on the temperature of the tyre. But seen a couple across the top, down into Forest Elbow, that sort of thing is probably more dependent on the tyre. That's probably a bit of traffic squeeze and guys trying to push through holes that weren't there then.
Let's have a look at the normal speed replay, the shell replay of that incident. Dean Wanless in the auto pro. Just caught the end of it.
Gee, those flaggies there are having a pretty exciting day, aren't they?
No, it's exactly the same place where Dean Kanto went in and the car caught fire.
Concrete walls in good and strong. Safety car conditions once again. Really is slowing down the speed of this event. Continual safety car periods. Greg Rust.
Well, two very happy Stevens down in pit lane with me at the moment. Stephen Ellery, firstly to you. You were leading when you came in at the stop there. Great to see both the Shell cars out in front.
Going to do their brake pad change. That's Simon Wills. The day is over. 2 years in a row. He crashes out in the Wins Commodore. And the day is over for John Faulkner as well.
I cannot believe this. Every lap we come back from a safety car period, Jason Bargwanna, there's someone sticking it into the fence.
Yeah, he's probably run pretty hot into the cutting there and just gone way too deep. The car's just on the cold tyre again. That'll probably be a cold tyre situation where the car's run wide and it's all over from there.
What do you think about the decision by the FIA to ban those bleed-off valves that kept the tyres at the right pressure?
Look, I mean, it's a sort of situation where you know it's going to be like that. You accommodate for it. You don't drive as hard on the opening couple of laps. You take it easy, build the pressure and temperature back into the tyre and go from there.
Well, Simon Wills has paid the price he was due to come in for his pad change. Let's have a look at that on the Shell replay. He's already hit the fence. Look at the debris. Big hard hit. He was on his own too.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to see, obviously, but he's probably just gone in there a little bit too hot. Got it all a bit wrong. The car will drop off the edge of the road there because there's a little dip on the right-hand side if you get out near the fence, and then it just drags you into the fence. So,
well, I don't know if anyone had money on the safety car, but he's going to do just about as many laps as the race winner by the time this is over.
This is incredible, isn't it? We thought in 1997 there was a high attrition rate. This is just off the wall. Simon Wills is okay though. From where we can see, he's on his feet and talking to the marshals, which is a good sign, and be very disappointed, and so too with John Faulkner back down in the pits because they were running pretty strong, and now they are adding to this group here. Dillman, Cottergon, Taylor and Attard, Emmazides and Wilmington, Dumbrell and White. That's the second of the 3 Wins cars to go, and Siders and Holt. Don't worry, we've got plenty more to go. Rouse and Barnacle, Thorne and Wanless, Miller and Kendrick, Conway and Shaw, and of course Tander, and the man sitting with us here, Jason Bargwanna. They went as well in spectacular fashion. So too did Thomas Mazira. Kanto went up in flames. Finnegan and Pate, they were involved in that incident. Larkham and Jones, Imrie and Crick. And of course the car on track is the last one there. Gardner and Brabham. Now, we did see that car go back out, but obviously it must be all over for the Gardner-Brabham car. Here's a replay.
Oh yeah, he's all on his own. He's off on the loose stuff.
Yeah, just on the edge, right edge of the white line there, the track actually drops away a little bit. If you stick a wheel over that, it actually pulls the car. He's obviously dropped the rear wheel over that on the cold tyre, and the brakes, rear brakes obviously working quite hard. Dropped the rear wheel over it, and it's pulled the car into the fence.
Well, I'll tell you what, he's had a pretty tough 12 months at Mount Panorama. That's easy for you to say. If you remember 12 months ago, he was involved in that big crash on top of the mountain at Forest Elbow. And now he's done it again.
It's obviously very disappointing for Simon. I remember last year I just made it through that big crash up there, and obviously unfortunately it's happened again for him.
In the Wins Commodore, but this is how it finished. Wills actually leading the race. He hadn't pitted yet. There he is on the left of your screen, just losing the right rear into what Jason Bargwanna described there as a little bit of a runoff, a bit of a gutter. Well, not quite a gutter, but anyway, it was enough to pull that right rear off. Under brakes and the tyres cold, all those factors combined, perhaps with little inexperience as well, to finish off Simon Wills for 1999. He partnered David Parsons last year and had a similar fate. So Wills yet to finish at FAI 1000, but there are plenty of drivers who can say that. Greg Rust is with his partner, John Faulkner.
Well, John Faulkner, things were certainly looking good. This is not the result you were looking for.
No, look, it's I've said it before, it's a cruel sport. It's probably the the most well prepared we've ever been with, you know, support from Cummins, Wins and Kmart. We've come here with a great car, new co-driver, probably a little inexperienced, but, you know, he did a fine job to take it to the lead. But there's got to be something wrong. Every time I get up, go to the toilet to prepare myself to get in the car crashes. So I think I'll stay away from it next year. But no, we're in with a shot still. Next year, who knows?
That's a different deal, isn't it?
It is. At least we prove we can lead this damn race. So
kick back, mate, and have a nice afternoon.
Great, thank you.
Move under brakes. Goes the my car. Young Lions car. Oh! Jim Richards.
And it's
got squeezed. John Bow in the car, in fact, made that other change, so that was John Bow in the Caterpillar Ford. Looking for a run up the inside of Jeff Full. Ford car was led Bathurst. St Richards and Scaife did it back in 1995. Let's check out the Shell replay.
Yeah, I mean, he certainly left the gap wide open there, and I would have taken the exact same position. I would have tried to go through there. It looks like he's moving over, getting out of the way, and unfortunately Bauer's been caught out there.
So look at that from another angle. Yeah, John Bauer was left with nowhere to go. The door was well and truly open. He stuck the nose up there, then he shut it very quickly.
This is why we have the safety car out yet again.
That's the Rod Salmon, Damien White car, the One World entry, spinning at the top there. And there's also another car off to the side. I think there may be. I think it's a car reverses out of danger. That's the colour scan car there. That's the other one.
Brett Peters, Danny Osborne, and that brand new AU Falcon was only completed last week. Didn't get a lot of race miles in before the race. But they were having a great time in qualifying, looking forward to a strong run, but it was not to be. Safety car out once again.
In a little bit of a tricky position there. Too dangerous a position to leave it. Well, slick stop to get him back out there as well, and Todd Kelly should be in the car.
Shell replay. Oh, the Craig Harris car. Tim Shaw had a bit of a spin coming on to pit straight. That is in fact the car that won this race last year in the hands of Jason Bright. Not a lot of room there, and not a lot of room over there.
There's not a lot of room anywhere.
No. So Stephen has to bide his time. As John Bow noticed there, the rear tyres may be getting way on the two. Oh, no! Stephen Johnson spun it. Going for an inside move on the number 2 Mobile Commodore. Manages to keep it out of the sand. But a rush of blood there coming into the chase. Well, what can you say, John Bow?
And look who's coming right up behind him. This is Neil Crompton in the number 4-5 Ford Tickford Racing AU. Crompton will pounce immediately. This is the battle for 5th and 6th.
Mate, I don't actually agree with driving down the middle of the road on the straight. I think probably it's not all that kosher, but we're getting to the crunch time in this race. We've had all those safety car periods. I know there's a long way to go, but the pressure's on, so I guess it's acceptable. And
Steve had to have a go.
Well, no, I think Steve needed to just sit there for a while. Morris would have crumbled in the end because his tyres are getting a bit tired. Anyway, he lives to fight another day, doesn't he?
He recovered pretty well, but that puts him a fair way down where he was. Let's have a look at that on the Shell replay, John.
Paul's committed to the corner. He's starting to turn in, and Steve was just a bit far back to actually try it, but rather than punt him, he's held onto the brake pedal a bit long, and that's set the back going. So I mean, it's just one of those things. It's, as they say in the classics, it's a racing incident.
It's very, very rarely you'll see
How
Stephen
lucky,
Johnson
though, he's not
make
in
a
the
mistake.
sandpit again.
Yeah, exactly. For a guy 25 years of age, here's another view from inside the Shell 17 Ford. Morris comes over to take his line. Boom, slight collision. And for a moment there, it looked like Johnson may have held onto that, looped it around, just managed to keep it out of the sand.
Didn't lose any positions on the track, but is under increasing with the top 11 cars still on the lead lap. The Shell replay, this is the Cranbrook Croswell car spinning, and it's just an amazing effort that this car is on the track. There was a huge crash. Dean Croswell had a very heavy off with this car, and the TAFE team and the Cranbrook team worked.
Hey YouTube, thanks for watching. If you're interested in more content like this, check out our back catalog of videos. We have hours and hours and hours of compilation videos, podcasts where you'll get news, you'll get my opinion on certain things, which who doesn't want to hear that. check it out. If you would, like, subscribe, turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our future uploads. We will be making more videos like this one. So, if you're interested, turn on notifications, like, subscribe, the works. And I appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for watching. God bless. Love you. Peace.